Welcome to Common Hood. This your boy Simon P. I'm flanked by my man Nard over here, my man Kelvin. Today we're gonna drop some knowledge on Father's Day since it's coming up this beautiful weekend in 2025. So I know when most of us think of Father's Day, we think about the commercialization of it, how we celebrate it, and then some of us like to compare it against the mothers.
Sure.
But without the mothers, there is no fathers. So today we're gonna give us a little personal growth and a little self-caring. And we're going to start off with the emotional connection that we as fathers can provide, as well as our children can reciprocate that thing. So I know just to share a little point, I had my father in my life the whole time, and my father just recently passed. And I believe Nard had a father as well, and his father passed. But your situation, you're totally unique. We probably shared it one time before.
Yeah.
Tell them a little bit. I'll let you explain that better than me.
Basically, I never knew my real parents. I was found in a dumpster with a newborn baby in Chicago, Illinois. Once they found me in the dumpster, I guess I went to adoption centers, whatever you call it, adoption centers or different things of that nature. Then my mother, Calvin Pryor, Mary Pryor, they adopted me as a newborn. They raised me. My mom died when I was 11. My dad died on 16, the ones who adopted me.
Right.
So I never had parents in my life like that, Basically had to get butter from the duck out there.
Butter from the
duck out there.
So you know how I felt when I first say that. Oh, you said this is. I was like, this is your dad.
Oh, you talking about my dad? I have a dad now, and they showed me. I met him when he used to own the car wash. I think I told you about it.
Right. Like, being on Mr. Joe.
Yeah, me and my partner had fallen out, and then I've called an attorney. Attorneys out there, being an attorney, saying you're a mediator. And so they gave me Jody's name. And when I called Jody, that was like 9 years ago. I called him. He swatched the whole situation with me and my partner over the phone. So that was really unique to me. And we became close after that. And then before you know it, we started calling each other father and son.
I had to mention Jody because it shows that for those that don't have the father local, don't have a father in prison, you have a father in prison, or your father's not in the home, that Mr. Jody offers an example that you still can show fatherhood to someone regardless.
Exactly.
So I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. So as always, this little Wacky Friday thing we do here, that we try to share some soul food nuggets for you to put in your belly over the weekend to help make right choices. And this weekend, 2025, it is Father's Day. Coming up. So we're gonna jump it off, man. I'm gonna start with Nard here. We're gonna get into emotional connection. Give us some ways we can possibly strengthen our bonds with our children.
Well, first, I think doing things with your kid or your child. For instance, taking very small things like walk, going on a boat ride or going fishing. There's other things if you live in an urban area that you could do. Attend a poetry session, go to a talk. There's things that you could do that doesn't cost money. And sometimes I think when we think in terms of doing things, we think in terms of finance and not being able to afford to do something, don't have the discretionary income to do those things. Let's not let those things be a hindrance.
Right.
Spend time is priceless. Human interaction doesn't cost unless we make it cost.
Human interaction doesn't cost unless we make it cost.
Like
you like to piggyback on that. You got anything to say?
I'm gonna say this. I definitely agree with him. That bond that you were talking about with your son or with your daughter, taking a walk, talking to them, getting to know them. Even spending time with them at the table, just talking to them, get extra about their day and stuff like that, of that nature. I think that works really good. Nowadays, we don't have that. We don't have it nowadays. We have more interaction with the cell phones and the text messages and all that stuff.
Xbox, PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I attended a birthday party, right? Well, not a birthday party, a birthday get-together.
Right.
We're at a restaurant, and I got there late, but I looked around. It's like, wait, the person the birthday is for is on a cell phone.
Yep.
Or on an electronic device. The grandson is on an electronic device. The friend is on the electronic device. And the person, everybody is on electronic device. I'm like, wait, what's going on? it was a cliche in real life.
No natural communication whatsoever.
Right.
You know, it's to kind of do a quick synopsis of what you guys are talking about, the emotional connection. You know, I don't want to take out how the activities that he mentioned forms a way for us to have better communication. So when I just listen to him saying, take a nice walk.
Yeah.
That don't cost anything.
No.
If God gave you energy and strength, hey, can we take a walk, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
and let it be a part of something. We left out gratitude. I wanted this to show that because we do so much for each other and that human connection we're establishing with our children.
Yeah.
And I'm learning this now to just say thank you. And the reason I'm saying thank you, man, I have one son that's studying and he's starting to learn how to trade options very good.
Yeah.
I got another son, man, that's starting to become a plumber. And it's funny, the one that's become a plumber, the one that's everybody want to say, I'm glad you okay now. But that's the one that got a plumber that I'm looking at, whoa, this is the way of the future.
Yeah.
Everybody does a robot, but that plumber, he's still, he's quite still. And then my beautiful daughter, my queen, you know, by her going to school. And I just want to say thank you to them.
Right.
Because it's like when somebody say, how your children doing, I'm just bubbly.
You know,
It just makes me get bubbly that I'm showing my way of gratitude and appreciation that maybe they did listen.
you know, sometimes
Maybe Pops did something right, you know?
they don't think they listen, but they really do. They risk. I mean, sometimes they rebel against you a little bit. And all my kids are grown. You already know that all my kids are grown. And I'm very proud of each one.
How old are you, girl?
I ain't saying I'm gonna put it out there. I look good for my age. But most my sons are grown. My two daughters are grown. Some are doing better than others. You know, they're taking their own path in life and stuff like that. They're still coming for advice, and if I can give it, I'll give it to them.
Right.
But I believe that they made good choices. You know, most of them made good choices. My younger daughter, she didn't make too good of choices in her life, but I'm still keeping her lifted up. You know,
That's that emotional
Yeah,
support
that
that we're talking about, that emotional connections. Now, going on to our next little bullet point.
Wait, before go ahead. What you're saying about advising them, even though they may be grown, I think having somebody older that you go to that experience certain things in life that you're going through or about to go through, is nice to have a template. I went through this, I've handled it this way, and I think sometimes young people don't have that person that they would go to, because if you went through it, I think I don't even have to quote Jay-Z, but Hov did that, so Hov funny after go through that. But you know, he's talking about something different. But I think when we experience things and able to share that thing that we analyze and learn from, I think that's where we derive that wisdom we impart on the younger person that may be asking, or to be a peer that's going through something and they need somebody to talk to. Because as men, sharing feelings and emotions is considered soft, and that macho, the bravado, never having a soft moment.
Right.
You know, we
I like to piggyback on that.
Yeah,
I like to piggyback on what he said. What he said, the soft part.
We trying to become better communicators with our children.
The soft part. I'm a very, very sensitive dude. And so I wasn't. I raised you out. Yeah. So when I say the soft part, I get my son hugs.
Yeah.
You know, let him know I love him. You know, my daughter, you know, we do it to the daughters. You know, all the time. My sons, I let them know there's nothing feminine about you hugging me as your father. There's nothing feminine about me talking to you on different levels. You know, softness. You know, I'm not gonna talk to you harsh, because we're gonna have a communication of like being men. You know, we're gonna talk. I'm not gonna raise my voice at you. We're gonna talk about these situations. So with me, with my boys, my grown men, I tend to let them know, hey, ain't nothing soft about me hugging you now. I let that be known when they were younger, you know, too, because I was raised, like I said, raised myself, but I've learned that if the mother is the most softest part of the family. she'll give that hug and that kiss on the cheek or whatever. Now, when I could talk what I love about you, what I love my son, I kiss him on the cheek, man, I love you, man. He did all that type of thing.
I think we mentioned that earlier about nurturing.
Right.
How that nurturing, we were trying to say that's not classified, that a man's supposed to do this, a woman's supposed to do this. We all kind of have it else, but some more than others. And since you mentioned the mother, I want to just kind of roll into the next topic of this, the construct of family unity. Because, like you say, you was a dumpster baby. Some out there may be single mom or with a single dad. We don't want to discount that. Or someone in an adopted situation, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
And so, dividing that father figure and trying to get in that unity, moving towards in what we in the millennium they call it. It's a different family construct of the traditional way we view families. There's a reason why you got so many divorces. So the unity is not there. So that's just kind of, as we float into celebrating this monumental moment of a holiday with Father's Day, let's just talk about how can we do better about promoting family cohesiveness.
Gotcha. Like you were saying, when you have a male role model in the house, it's totally different. I don't really know how that is. The person I didn't have one. My dad, when we were adopted, he was, he was hardcore. He was a hardcore dude. He died at 16, but I've been on my own when I said 14. My dad was in the Black Panthers. My dad was a Mason. My dad was a folk corner hustler. My dad was in the streets. The Redefining. So I really don't know.
I call it the streets.
Yeah, he's out there. I know he's out there. But what he did show me is what I didn't want to do. That's what he showed me, what I didn't want to do, what I didn't want to do. And so I took that on myself. I said, okay, I don't want to go through the same things he went through, being in the streets and out there in the world, doing his thing, whatever. But at that time, he probably had to do those things. I didn't know that. He probably had to follow those type of rules out there in the streets and stuff. I didn't want to do that. Now, I've been through a whole lot of things in my life. Don't get me wrong. I had certain things happen to me in my life that I won't share another segment probably, but I've been through the average black guy. I don't know how many of you guys have never been through the system or never been with things, the handcuffs on, and different things. I've been through a whole lot of different things in my life, and military and all. But I want to say this, father figures, man, we go through a lot as men. And I don't think this is wrong with guys, but I don't think we get the credit that we deserve as fathers. I really don't. So when they say Father's Day, so Mother's Day, they do a whole all out thing for Mother's Day. I think God for Mother's Day.
Remember, that's the commercialization of the system. Now, with we knowing that it's being commercialized, like you said, your situation is different. I was blessed to have a father.
Yeah.
My father was in the house as from day one, from the time they slapped me and say he's alive,
We're there,
and he's okay. My father was there. So my experience with my father is, that was a quote, and I probably didn't mention this before, but it's coming from my father. I don't need no friends. Since I had my children and my wife, that's my first line of defense.
That's good.
So we wasn't raised up. We have a silver spoon that you get from Walmart, but not sterling silver. Not sterling silver.
Right.
But my mom and dad did make things do what they do, that we never was hungry.
That's good.
We never lacked, and we always had a stable home. And what he promoted was, no matter what, y'all try to stay together.
That's good.
So for me, that's how that cohesiveness rocks with me. Like, as a man or as a father, I have to try to continue to find ways to promote togetherness.
That's it.
And now I have a better understanding when they say family reunions are not the same.
Yeah.
Class reunions are not the same. There's something going on, but it starts in the house, and I'm guilty of it because, over here in this Western, you get 18, what you told to do.
Get a job, leave it home.
Get a job, going out, you grown, out of deal, I'm balling with it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much done. But picking back on what he said when I thought about that walk, all of that cohesive.
That's you. That's beautiful. I like when he brought that up.
Right,
Yeah.
because shout out to the state of Florida parks. I think the state of Florida has some of the best parks in the whole country. And
Don't tell nobody, man. We got so many people coming to Florida. Don't tell nobody.
That's good. That's good.
Please, if they outside of Florida, man, need a lot of this, man. Because we do have beautiful springs and lake.
Yeah.
right, and there's something to be said about being out in nature. You had the Prince Prairie here, the Devil's Mill Arbor. Yeah, they probably need to give us some compensation for shooting. But like for instance,
So we love Gainesville. That's what we at Gainesville for.
right. When you look at the Cranes Prairie, just that 5 mile at a 4.5 mile drive into it, you could enter it. I mean, these are locations that's minimal entry fees, sometimes no entry fees. You have San Francisco for free. You could go on a beach to walk, and it's you amongst the tree. Just you and another human being or your child, just taking it up, making them appreciate nature. Those things are free. Going to the beach together is free. Finding a local pool and going, just experiencing out and having that activity, but it fosters that human connection.
You making me cry over here.
No, he's putting it like into like a metaphor, like a book metaphor, basically. So it's beautiful. How you articulating yourself with that is beautiful, man. I mean, and it is right on point. It's right on point. You got to get back to it.
Thank you. Because the thing is, I have a friend, Dion, for instance, just going to San Francisco, taking that it's broken into 3, 2, 5 miles, and you could take any loop you want. And all you need is a shoe with connection so you don't fall.
Yeah.
That could go to the floor.
No paying for parking.
Yeah, no paying for
No entry fee.
nothing.
It's time together.
And you and nature, even if you wanted to go by yourself, but you and somebody else makes it worth it because you're sharing that human connection. A friend of mine,
Nature has a way of just sucking out the nature.
yes,
That's exactly what it is. Exactly.
Nature sucks out that nature.
and that's exactly why he does it, because that endorphins is just walking and experiencing life, and you one with nature, breathing the clean air, and just experiencing it, especially with somebody that's your family, and if that's your seed, that person that's gonna be your legacy.
Yeah.
That connection, one-on-one connection, no distractions, except you and nature is the third wheel is nature.
Man, look.
Yeah.
I see.
We got to hit all.
Yeah. Maybe we need to go ahead and start a campaign.
Yeah.
Let's take the walk and let's make it a habit.
Yes.
Making it a habit.
Okay. No electronics around.
Yeah.
No phones.
Yeah.
It's just you in nature, and you gotta focus on each other.
Exactly.
Exactly. One of the best gifts that could happen, that you could share with another human being, is allowing them to be heard, just being felt, listened to. Just you speaking.
I'm trying to improve that.
Yeah, you said you're speaking, and I can articulate and respond to you based on what I understand that you just told me. Not be regurgitating verbatim
Yeah.
what you just said to me, but I'm actually telling you what I understood, and by doing that, that means I had to listen. I had to hear you.
That's what we're talking about right now. Even with your children, I told my wife this all the time. I tell her all the time today, let them talk, because she wants to talk over them. When they come and have a call with the grandkids, or they want to say this, and let me tell you what to do. Let me tell you what to do. Let me tell you how to do.
I'm here to that.
So, but
That's why I say I'm learning.
So what he's saying is, and I do this. That's why my kids gravitate toward me more than they gravitate toward their mom. They said, Dad, we come to you and talk to you because you're able to listen to us. And when you listen to us, you're able to give us an understanding of, you're able to talk to us about what we're talking about, or able to give us any kind of insight on what we're saying. Mom comes at us like, hey, how do you just do that? Do it like this. I told you, this is how you do it, because I've been there, done this. Yeah, you might have been there, done that.
You know what his beautiful thing goes back to unity.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a mother and father.
Oh yeah.
So the one that tell you like it is, they probably go to her Because they need to tell it like it is answer. And normally when somebody do them wrong, and they want to say, yeah, I thought that. Because my mama telling them like it is. But then you do have to have that person. But all of these things we have to know when to apply them.
Right.
In order to promote, the unity that we want. So, we as fathers, of course, we are a role model. As Mr. Charles Barkley said, I probably said it before. And I can remember this. He's long retired, over 20, 30 years.
Right.
I am not your role model because I dribble this basketball.
Right.
I am not your role model. So I have a chance to be a role model. You have a chance to be a role model. You have a chance to be a role model. And as a man, when you saying taking that walk, I know he mentioned the nature, but I'm thinking about my local communities. So can I take a better more walk? I'm since Gainesville, the real Duval.
Oh yeah.
Not Duval in Jacksonville, but the real Duval to have an elementary named after. That I hope they don't close out the elementary school forever. But those neighborhood walks always brought unity out. You gonna come out and say hello. I hadn't seen you in a while. What's been up? But taking that time with my children to take that walk, they all kind of disperse.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if there's nothing to do, maybe I could drive to Orlando or drive to Tampa or drive whatever, spend that little bonding time to promote what we want, which is effective connection and still evolving on that unity.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. I think, like as you saying, neighborhood things, like if your neighborhood is safe enough to take a bike ride, with your kid. It's free. Like if you have a bike, it requires calories, the pedal, and enjoy your neighborhood. Say hello to your neighbors while you're riding by. Wave at the neighbor. Wave at the grandma on the porch. And say hello to granddad as you pass by. Neighborhoods, community. So I think as Sunday comes up to celebrate Father's Day, I think the celebration really is the celebration of each other through Father's Day. Father's Day is just the vehicle, the medium of which we emphasizing, hey, there's connections to be made, there's a camaraderie, there's understanding, effective communication, listening to each other. I think that day, if you could afford to go out, if you can't afford to go out, you could cook a home cooked meal.
Everybody doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody doing it.
But I like the idea of it as being not attaching affordability to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just the time, and it's kind of giving us this simple things that we can do. That all we need to do is be together.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it. And
If you can't be together, there's no way we can hit that communication.
you can't.
There's no way to form this unity that we're talking about. We got to get it together.
Yeah.
Got to get it together.
Interaction, then within those interactions, I think those interactions needs to be healthy. Do we really need alcohol to make it enjoyable? Do we need to be out of our minds?
Somebody to help you relax.
Here with that. It's like Ronald was just saying. Okay, so we got invited to Dad's house for Father's Day, and Dad drinks the
Love is bird.
the bourbon
Yeah.
and everything, and my wife's family, they drink too. So, but the bonding part is, I found this out a long time ago, and it's the truth, man. When they drink that stuff, they gonna tell the truth. They gonna talk the truth. They gonna tell you. They gonna talk the truth. So I'm
2 or 3 drinks not the age will bring up a certain
openness. And I've learned that. I'm like, okay, I used to be people, well, you drink too much, or you do this and that. Nowadays, now I'm like, you do what you do. We finna talk, we finna chill, we're finna see what's going on with you, see what's going on with me, play some cards, have fun. They want anything.
When it comes to the alcohol, everybody do their own self.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Is alcohol bad for you?
Yeah.
Hell,
And moderation now.
So as fathers, I think we saying we're not gonna be the one that chooses.
Well,
That may not be promoting a healthy
some people
a healthy child.
drink. Some people drink in moderation. Fathers, grandfathers, whatever. They drink in moderation. I like red wine.
Right.
You know, I like my red wine, so I drink my red wine, go home, have a glass of red wine, sit on back patio with the trees like he's in nature. I sit on back patio, man, look at the birds coming around, the wind on me. I'm chilling.
You go, whoa, relax, where you at?
Right.
I always said bull.
Yeah,
They got yeah.
You know, but what you just said, bro, is very important. I think I left that out. Playing cards,
Yeah.
playing chess,
Yeah, I
playing
love
checkers,
chess.
playing Unos, playing Connect Four.
Yeah.
Those things don't cost anything except the original cost of purchasing the Uno card,
Yeah.
or the original cost of purchasing the chessboard, or the original cost of purchasing the checkerboard. Whatever it is, most of us have cards, and you don't have to really purchase. Just spend time. I mean, I think any of those days that's been commercialized is really what we should emphasize on, is spending time with each other.
Yeah.
And making it healthy. When I mentioned healthy and the alcohol thing, I was just saying healthy communication.
Yeah.
Making it enjoyable to want to do this again. Like after it's done, oh man, where the time went? Let's do this again. Oh, we can't let months go by before doing this.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it happens at funerals. That's when we have a family reunions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think the occasion like a Father's Day, let's really make it enjoyable. Let's make it unifying. Let's make it interaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know, getting back to the importance of father, a mother. I think without either, there's no chance to identify the roles. Because you got to take two to make it. That child and that father and mother. And don't want to get away from how important we are to nurturing that child's awareness and that child's personal growth. So we just kind of piggyback on two things to help with that, with establishing the connection, the right communication, with the family unity. We're finding a time, whether it's like we grew up, I think on Sunday, we knew we were getting a billionaire.
Right.
We knew it wasn't the church bill. My mom and dad worked, and sometimes we didn't go to church, so I don't recall us. I probably went to more church after my mom and dad than during.
Okay.
Because my mom and dad worked, so that was their time to kind of relax, trying to recover. There's so many hours a day. But they still made it that we knew that my mom was going to set that table. And we might be the only neighborhood. Like, I'm Simon P, but I'm Simon P Jr.
Right.
So some people notice that on that block, my mom will come out that door and say, Simon Jr. I mean, I got to run because it's time to eat.
Yeah.
And normally we sat at a table. And, you know, to my parents, I just want to say that I didn't know how hard that was.
Yes.
And it's because I messed up along the way.
Yeah.
I have my children, but it's hard to manage to do what they did because I had
schedules. Yeah.
I had 3 of them baby mamas.
Right.
So I messed up somewhere with emulating my father.
Right.
He set an example for me, but somewhere it got kind of thrown off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I never had those opportunities to have that. My children was raised without that without the regularity of this family dinner.
Yeah.
And anybody know my mom, family members, they know that if nothing else, we can recall our mom and I'm always having people coming over and having people help. And at this point, my parents set such a great example that it's emotional to know that this Father's Day is coming up. And this is like, this will be the 4th year or 3rd year that my biological father is not here.
Right.
And that's a huge adjustment to the point that when they say legacy, my dad may not couldn't let it leave $1 million, but as far as what he taught,
that's the legacy part, right?
as far as how much I learned even more on, damn, I was hard-headed as hell by not listening. Since he's gone now,
Yeah.
I see everything my daddy was trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So spending that time, sometimes that's the only thing that probably could have said in more, because sometimes as parents we were working so much.
Yeah.
You got the business of the day. The man got you in the job for 8 hours. Then you coming home, you checking and balance the bills. You got to get meals. The time is missed. It's eat and go bed. It's a rotation.
Yeah.
So those small things that we're talking about taking that walk, I'm thinking like, wow, we should have ate that dinner, came out the house, said we're gonna walk the neighborhood twice as a family.
Yeah.
Like how cool that would have been.
That would have
to been walking in what they say is an area that's kind of underserved, considered, at least in Gainesville, that quote unquote Duval supposed to been a bad neighborhood. Though I love my community, it made me for who I am today. That a lot that was taught later, I'm saying, well, I can respect my neighborhood so much now, because that mental toughness, it put it there for me. So, let's not get to the fact that our goal as fathers is to promote the awareness of what they're going to face. I think you might have mentioned wisdom earlier, and to stay focused with enhancing that personal growth.
That's good.
That's my particular look. I don't want to use the word testimony, how much my father meant to me on his Father's Day. And I ain't gonna never discount my mother, because they did.
They do it.
That's awesome, because what you're saying is that on a Father's Day special, that is what a father really means. It's not necessarily the amount that you provided, the amount of money you provided, but it's that time spent. It's that time spent, the time spent. And I think that makes it when I guess every father hearing that would I think say that is extremely important. Spending time, that interaction with you left an indelible experience with you. And you as you're talking about it, I see the emotion. I see it.
I'm up here thinking about how Sunday we used to cook pancakes.
Oh man,
my daddy would pull that batter.
Those experiences, that I wish
Friday night
that I would have had.
Yeah.
Those experiences that I wish I would have had as a kid.
Yeah.
If you grew up in a family with your father, man, it's the most blessed thing you could ever have in your life. Mom, we not taking that day from the mom, but if you grew up in a household with that father, man, it's a blessed thing, man. And especially we have to follow. He said he had with his dad.
Down napping father.
And I do that with my sons, and I try to get around them, do what I can do. We just had my sons over this with this last weekend. Came over with the grandkids and stuff like that. They chill with them and stuff like that. I'm asking them questions. What you up to now, man? What's going on now? Type of thing. I'm working. Yeah.
And when I speak of my father and I mention role model, that is my role model. Not falling short.
Yeah.
But I didn't recognize my shortness until my daddy passed.
Right.
Right. So it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment period for me, and it's been 3 years. My father passed. It's been for full 3 years, and it's making me like, wow, I got to do better in this. So I say that to say that your presence as a father is just so damn significant.
Yes, it is. Very.
And if you're in the home, you got a better chance.
Yeah.
If you're out of home, you better learn how to communicate.
Yep. Yep. And then and out.
Because you're not there for them to see how you roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be an example.
Yeah.
Be an example. So if my daddy was, I want you to have a high character. I don't know about all this stuff y'all getting into. We know the history. But just work hard and stay out of trouble.
Right. And I'm glad you said that.
Work hard, yeah, trouble.
Yeah. Work hard, stay out of trouble. But you know what word that brings up for me? Consistency. Consistency. Right. With having a parent in the house that's consistent helps you be the same everywhere you go. The same character, maintaining that same character everywhere you go. Because that community aspect from back in the days, anybody could whoop you.
Oh yeah, and I remember those days. I remember those days. Before you get home, you can't tell up. Yeah.
Disrespecting our last name.
Yeah.
You're gonna get another one. You're gonna get
home.
Don't let them tell the aunties about it and the uncles about it.
You'll get help.
That sounded like my mama. Don't disrespect my name.
I remember those facts.
Put some respect on it.
I gave you that birth certificate. Don't disrespect. I'm just saying.
Now, even though my dad was in the streets, right, the one that adopted me, even though he was in the street, everybody knew him. Everybody knew him. You know, they called him Chuck, but they knew him as Calvin Pryor. You know, but he don't think Jimmy, they didn't him. But he was known in the streets. So his last name was known, and he was known in the street. If you know what I'm saying. So if I went out in the street, they said, "Oh, that's Chuck's son there."
You got to
don't mess with that. Don't mess with Chuck's son. You know, that type of thing, because he was known in the street. So what you were saying is, even though he was out there like that, my mom was the type of person. She would go to work, come home, and she talked about the Lord, different things of nature. She taught me how to say folks. She didn't want to taught me how to cook at a young age before she died. You know, but I learned how to cook when I was 8 years old. You know, from her. But my dad part was, he had a reputation in the street. My mom had the reputation in the neighborhood as being a good woman. You know, that thing. But you put Calvin and Mary Pryor together, them two together, they know Mary Pryor don't hold no punches. Calvin, the Chuck don't hold no punches either. So this two couple right here, don't mess their names up in the street. So when you talking about the whoopings in the street, I go out in the street, the next door neighbor can whoop you. But if you mess up, they don't have that nowadays. You put your hand on a child now, you know something's gonna happen to you.
It's different.
So it's totally different. But I remember those days. I remember going to school, and you mess up in school, the teacher can pat on your hand with the ruler.
Man,
you know
that your age and you
right. Well, just for clarity, we're not promoting corporal punishment or
no, not at all,
or anything like that, because you have to use our words.
I'm gonna let you speak for yourself on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I will whoop your if it's needed.
Well, I mean,
but we all know it's not
punishment. Also, with all respect, also we don't want to promote slave mentality, the residues, legacies of slavery. We don't have to get too deep into that, but I mean, certain way of discipline are inherited from slavery. So I don't want to sit here and promote that either, but I do understand discipline, and you have to represent your last name and represent who you are consistently. So I'm not against discipline. That's not what I'm saying.
Yes, it's a different way.
Right. We could communicate and be effective in the way we raise our kids, and it is Father's Day after all. So we want to promote understanding and communication and camaraderie. And certain realities are different for each family dynamics and everything like that. So I just want to make sure that it doesn't sound to the audience that we're promoting a beat your kids, you know.
Well, you do everybody for a child. Well, I'm teasing.
Let's just wrap it up from this. From a heartfelt, if we're communicating and spending time, there might be less spankings.
Yeah.
Spankings normally last from maybe birth to about 5 to 7.
Yeah.
As kids start recognizing yes and no, you know, I don't want to use the word corporal punishment, but let's just say spankings may decrease. But hell, I love my mama. I got plenty of ass whoopings and deserved it. Switch.
Yeah.
Stencil cord if it was grabbed. That's when you get too big and you act like you want to flex. They feel like, no, I'll run this here. Somebody gonna run it out there too. So if you can learn to listen now, but I have to go there if you're not gonna listen.
Right.
Now, as my parents evolve as well, and they practice their learning communication, we all trying to get to that point. So we know I can get what you're saying with that, and we just want to just give some actionable steps and just kind of close out the session here. And one of them I'm just going to read. It says, write a heartfelt note.
Yes, the power. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go first. But the power of the written word, to able to be alone with your thoughts and write them down, capture them on paper, and then communicate and share that with somebody that you love, and they can read it alone by themselves and reflect on those thoughts, is I think so. It's added value. We're talking human value.
And make sure you do it, and I'm gonna make sure I do it for my two.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a paragraph, just to sell them.
I do mine every morning.
Yes.
I send them out every morning to my children, to my boys. I think that with the power to call the written word is a good metaphor, put it that way.
Right.
I think it's great. And I believe in that once they words, you can take the words in, and then if you meditate on the words inside in your spirit, it grows inside you.
Oh, yeah.
So I believe in that wholeheartedly. I think that's really big.
Right, because it's the dimension of
You're sending a nice text message every day. So we talked about organizing the day. For those that are doing it, kudos. And for those that are not, hopefully it's an idea for you out there. You started with walk, roller skating, whatever it may be, deep sea fishing, freshwater fishing, whatever it may be, you go ahead and do it, jet skis, whatever it may be, just do it. It's an activity, but try to make it a habit if you can.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
Even if you're not a poet, try to write a poem. I don't care if it's everything, it sucks. If it's great, it's a great piece of literature, or you think it needs to be crumpled and thrown in the garbage. But if you just express your thoughts and ideas with the person, with your dad, just write.
Yeah.
At least a paragraph.
When I'm thinking about if you was a soldier in war, one of the things you'd be happy if somebody writes you about.
I believe it.
And sometimes you keep, if you were in prison,
I'm going to say that.
sometimes you want to say that letter.
Yeah.
Or you may have had a card or somebody wrote something in there, and you open up your favorite book and you be like, I got this. So it's all important. So just to wrap this all up, man, I thank you guys for coming through today, and to all the amazing fathers all over the world and in our communities. Thank you for your guidance, and let's keep making a difference. This is Common Hood, Simon P. We out.
Want to elevate your brand with professional audio and video? At the Gainesville Podcast Studio, we make podcasting easy. Our fully equipped studio and expert engineers handle everything from recording to editing to upload. It is a complete done-for-you podcasting solution. Book your session today and let your voice be heard. Visit GainesvillePodcastStudio.com today to book your session.